Okay, I'm training abs. The most important thing is not where my hands are. It's not where my legs are. It's that this is working. How do I get this to engage? And how do I get this to work? Well, there's several things that are happening at the same time that I'm doing here that you may or may not see. One is that my pelvis is lifted slightly toward me. So I'm have my butt is not flat on the pad. My lower back is on the pad. And this leg up is keeping everything angled toward me this way. It's kind of creating a crunch from underneath. It's up to me to create the crunch from the top so that the abs are actually sitting on top of each other. And that's how I can get an enormous contraction. See, if I do this, I'm really not doing much. I mean, this is the traditional crunch. This is how most people are doing it. I challenge you to drop one leg, put another leg on the floor, and keep this leg up here. This will drive the lower back into the pad much more solidly, and you'll be able to come up, create a contraction, and then come on back down. Now you'll see I'm kind of holding a contraction throughout the entire exercise. I'm not coming all the way down. I'm taking tension away from the biceps, the abs when I'm doing that. So what I want to do is actually train the abs as if I'm training the biceps. I'm pumping them up. The mistake most people make is to do 5 sets of 10, 5 sets of 20, 5 sets of 30. You know, the way I see it is you want to engage the abs, you want to feel them. Even if it takes 200 times to do that, I guarantee the second set won't be as long. The second set will be 10, 5, 6, whatever. But this is the first exercise that I start off with. Very simple, very subtle. One leg up, one foot planted firmly by the heel, pelvis sort of tilted up this way underneath me, keeping the crunch continuously, just accentuating the contraction every time. You can keep your hands here, you can keep your hands here. You can keep your hands here. Doesn't really matter. I want to create a tension, create a sensation. Now, the key to developing incredible abs is to make a connection with them. I'm connected with mine. I can pull myself out of bed in the morning using my abs. I feel them when I move. I feel them when I pick up my baby. I feel them when I sit down in my chair and when I pull up from my chair. I feel them all the time. It's because I've actually made the connection with them. So how can you make a connection with them, especially if you're a little bit overweight or you're not necessarily engaged yet in your whole body? Well, I'll tell you. It's something that no one's told you before. You have to train them while they're sore. So tomorrow when you get up after doing this and you feel them, I want you to work them again. And again and again and again, so that you can maintain the connection. Now, if you can't move the next day, don't try to train them. But if you feel them, if you recognize them, if you move in the morning and say, oh, there they are, that's what you should be feeling. That's how you make the connection. And the only way to do that is to stay on them, to be extremely consistent. You can't do them once a week. You can't do them twice a week. If you really want to have terrific abs, you have to do them often. I would say every other time you're in the gym. And you can switch legs. Contraction throughout the entire exercise. I'm just changing the intensity of the contraction by bringing my body up. The way you do the pulley crunch is don't come too close to the machine and don't come too far away from it. Kind of come so that you are about, I would say about 2 feet away from the machine where your knees are 2 feet away. Now, don't just pull the weights down toward the floor. I want you to actually bring your pelvis up. Bring your pelvis up just like this and pull the weights down like this. So that your abs are sitting on top of one another. If I do this, I'm really not doing anything. I'm working my hips. But if I do this, I'm crunching the abs, letting them sit on top of each other. A very subtle movement, keeping the pelvis up and toward me and bringing the weights down, keeping the hands relaxed, pulling down on top.